Alright, you guys, so I'm just gonna be doing something a bit different where I really just hop on. I'm trying to just post daily. That is the goal of this. And so with this, hold on 1 second. Give me 2 seconds. So with this, I'm really just gonna be hopping on and talking about any trades that I took or any trades I didn't take and why I didn't take them. And so kind of with that, the first thing I'm going to be going through is this is actually kind of an important week in terms of this is the first week where I traded my own like options like live, like in my own account is basically what I meant to say. And so yeah, like this first week I traded options live in my own account. I obviously, if you know anything about me, if you've seen any other videos, you might have known that I'm a finance major. I was a finance major in college, so obviously I'm not like brand new to options. It's not something I don't understand. It's just I've never really traded them, for myself live. And so this was like the first week that I was doing that. Took 4 trades this week in terms of those options trades. One was a quick hitter loser. The other 3 are still running right now. One I got in yesterday. The other 2 I entered on Tuesday. So yeah, it's been a pretty active week in terms of my first week trading options. But I'm gonna hop into those trades right now. And then as well, I wanted to talk about kind of how I'm trading options right now. So right now I'm only focused on trading verticals and diagonals, because to me, it's like the closest thing that resembles what I'm comfortable with in terms of technical analysis from all the time that I spent trading Forex. And so understanding, obviously there's a lot of other things that I have to understand with trading an option vertical as opposed to just trading Forex straight up. But it's definitely a lot more directional based, and like makes me feel more comfortable in terms of the bets that I'm placing on the technical analysis that I'm doing to find these options trades. So like I said, just been running a lot of verticals, gonna be running diagonals when I get approved for that options, that type of options trading in my TD Ameritrade account. And then just besides the options trade this week, I also have taken one Forex trade, pound yen, pretty simple trade. And I'm gonna look just briefly, like check in on that. This is another good week in terms of Forex, it's another big week and also in terms of Forex because I finished a sample size like last week and it was profitable, it was good, that was good. But this sample size, what I'm focused on is the idea of paying myself as I'm in the trade, and kind of taking partials. So before, what I used to quote unquote pay myself while I was in the trade was trailing stops. But just the way that I trade, I've realized that trailing stops probably isn't the best way for me, because I'm not accurate enough with my trailing of stops and with my analysis yet to where it's like I would know, okay, well, I have rules around this would violate, this idea, what have you, but I'm not accurate enough in my analysis to really trail my stop while I'm in the middle of a trade. And I think it's better for me to pay myself by taking partials as I go. So this is the first sample size where I'm testing that in a live market, so I thought that's why it was a good idea to do this video now, is even though I'm doing basically the same, I am trading the same strategy with Forex and really trading the same exact way in terms of doing technical analysis with options. There are a few more considerations, especially in terms of trading options, that I'm taking into account with these sample sizes, right? And obviously just with trading options, there are things you have to take into account, like the Greeks, right? Like what have you, right? And so I'm gonna stop rambling, just gonna very quickly gonna talk about like my actual trades here. Like specifically I'm gonna talk about this one on pound yen. So like we're looking at the one on pound yen right now, and just looking at that, we can see that we're running, in some good profit right now. But the main thing is I took profit at that green horizontal line, right? I took my first profit at that green horizontal line. And it's actually nice because I'm using a prop firm at the moment, and I actually want to test out using different amounts of like taking profit like taking partials along the way. I was testing it out when I was doing my back testing on taking partials, but I want to see how it works out in the live market. Two different ideas that I had, and so actually on the prop firm one, I'm being a bit more, I guess you would say, safe in how much I take profit when I take that first partial. And then in terms of my own personal trading account, Forex trading account that I still maintain outside of the prop firm account that I have, I'm being a bit more aggressive, so leaving more on those trades. And so that's like something that I'm doing, kind of different, kind of weird. I definitely wouldn't recommend it if you're just newer, but it's definitely something that, like I said, I need to see how these things work out in the live market. It's not good enough to just see it in back testing, so that's why I'm doing it that way. But regardless, I'm going to be keeping it the same amount, like on the prop firm account all the way through, and then the same amount on my personal account all the way through. It's just those two amounts are going to be slightly different. All right, and then as well, just going to look at these options plays very quickly. First one I'm looking at is a play that I'm running on Joan. It's like a pretty sure it's like a beauty company. To be honest with you, I don't really care because it's a very short-term options play. The options plays that I run, I reevaluate the way I've been doing. Sorry. Sorry about that. The way I've been doing demo trading with options is I reevaluate on Friday whether or not I'm going to hold this play through the weekend, right? Because, even if I feel very, very comfortable with the technicals, it's very easy for price to, for somebody to step into a market and say, you know what, I don't like Joan this high, I don't like this high, I don't like this low, and immediately reverse it, on the first trading period of Monday. So I'm always trying to take into account how much space do I have to still get some profits if that were to happen to me on Monday, right? Because even though I don't know what's going to happen, it's very likely that it's not just going to open up with me being completely in the red on the straight. Right, if it's been running in some decent profits, then I have a good chance that I'm not just gonna open up completely in the red. All right, but this is the one that I'm running on Joan. The main thing with these is understanding that since it's my first week trading options live, I'm just going one contract for one contract. Like I said, I'm running verticals, so that's buy one contract, sell one contract. Depending on if I'm going long, short, that determines which one I buy, which one I sell. But regardless, and like how I'm going long, how I'm going short, because I can run a vertical, I can be bullish using a vertical, using puts as well as calls. Same thing with being bearish. I can be bearish using calls as well as puts. So it really depends, on the options volatility, all that good stuff, right? And so this is the play that I'm running on Joan. I'm also running this one on Vuzix right now. As you can see, Joan is running a better profit in terms of this bullish vertical as opposed to Vuzix, right? And again, just one trade, one contract for one contract. And then the last options play that I have up right now is Petco, as I'm running a short on Petco. And again, this is really very early on. I placed this one, I think. This one was one I placed yesterday. And all of these are April 14th calls or puts. So with Petco, I'm running puts, and then with Joan and Vuzix, I'm running calls, right? And so, to be honest with you, I probably should have ran puts on Vuzix and Joan, just because the implied volatility on both Vuzix and Joan is higher than the historical volatility, and so that tells me that the options I'm buying are probably a little bit expensive, okay? But, it's not the only thing that tells you an option is expensive, overpriced, cheap, what have you. But it is something that I take into account, something I probably should have taken into better account this time around. But, try not to result in terms of thinking like, oh, I'm perfect, like, these options trades are running profit right now, so I didn't do anything wrong. Like, that's probably the main thing I did wrong with these right now, because if you look at the Petco one, you can see that the implied volatility is actually higher than the historical volatility. And times like that actually, at least from what I've learned, traditionally speaking, it's better to kind of, go like short options or like puts and stuff like that in that case, right? But mostly just short options, because options as a whole are going to be a bit more expensive, right? And so that's kind of what I'm doing right now, options wise, also forex wise. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any advice from me, especially in terms of options, I'd love to hear it. I'm definitely open to it. Something like I said, I'm trying to learn more. I'm not trying to be a snob about this. I think I'm the best, because like I said, I'm really just getting started with actually trading options live. But I'm glad I took this amount of time to do it, because placing my first options trades, I feel absolutely nothing. I'm sure obviously a part of it was the fact that I'm only running one contract at a time, but it really felt the same as if me placing a forex trade. And so I think a big part of that is I took my time. I really understand what I'm doing on the technical analysis side of things and really feel comfortable with that. And I understand that there might just be a part of the option play itself that, doesn't lend itself to, the play or the trade, working out anymore. Like maybe the theta or the vega, or the gamma starts to negatively affect the options trade, right? And so understanding that, I feel comfortable with the technical analysis, and there might just be another part of the options trade that I need to better understand, and the fact that I'm only trading, using one or two types of trades at a time in terms of options, it makes me very comfortable in terms of going forward with it, because it'll make it very easy for me to learn, okay, well, this is where I went wrong with this vertical, this is where I went wrong with that diagonal, like that kind of stuff, right? So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it provided some value to you guys, and yeah, join me again next time.